video I visit the abandoned Hoverport at Pegwell Bay near Ramsgate in Kent. This is where the Swedish company called Hoverlloyd, using their huge SRN4 Hovercraft, would take passengers and cars across the English Channel to France. The Hoverport was opened in 1969 and was home to Hoverlloyd until its merger with Seaspeed in 1981. The operations only continued for one more year before being transferred to the nearby Hoverport at Dover. The main terminal was demolished by the end of the 1980s, with Pegwell Bay used for hovercraft maintenance until its final closure in 1997. There is not much left of the buildings, but the ramps, apron and car parks are still intact and can be explored, but they are now in a poor state. Parking is easily found nearby and foot access is easy. Oh, I think it's the main road in.
Fabulous.
So I think the first part you come to at the end of this road here would have been the car park that was here. And from photos I've seen, a lot of the car parking spaces are still marked.
Okay.
There you go, it's the car park.
Ah, yes. You can see the lines.
Number 5 queuing row. Number 4. Very faint number 3. Number 2. Yeah, I can't see the number 1. But that's clearly the centre line though, because it's not dotted. And then they'll start queuing again. So this will be, it says A. Looks like C goes underneath that foliage there. It's amazing how much, only a few years.
D possibly? Definitely a dotted line.
Yeah, that would have been the start of the D, wouldn't it?
This is broken up, so you're not going to see the rest.
So E should be around about here, because you can see the remnants of the dotted line over here. Don't know how many it went to. There's a remnants of another letter there. And yeah, it breaks up. So it's the end of the queuing lanes that would have gone back there. And then this is where the hovercraft would have come up off of the shore for the cars to enter. Now this is the ramp that goes in and out of the water. You can see Ramsgate Harbour in the distance. And panning around here, you can then see the ship up on the small cliff and the bridge that I was on, and just to the right of the bridge would have been the car park area. So directly in front of us here would have been where the hovercraft would have parked, with the loading lanes just behind. You see the edges are very well worn, deteriorated over time. But we got a second ramp here with some yellow lines. So from one ramp to another, so it's 2 ramps. Over to the right is Ramsgate Harbour. Just spotted directly ahead of us actually the sails of an old windmill. And on the horizon there's some smaller chimneys towards the left, but there was a bigger power station that was demolished around about 20 years ago, which is a shame because that is something that appears in a lot of the original pictures from when this hoverport was open. So I've been trying to get some photos then and now, and that was one of the major landmarks that made it easy to find things. But as it's gone, Makes things a little more difficult. Water's quite clear.
Clear and very peaceful.
There's a big area of deterioration up here. Big hole.
Yeah.
Some crispy seaweed.
Yeah, crispy seaweed and shells.
So it shows the depth of the concrete. It's only 6 or 8 inches thick. I thought it'd be thicker than that. Another big area of deterioration. To be careful you don't fall down some holes here. So looking back across towards Ramsgate, there's 2 slipways to the right, and this is the final third one. And just up on the flatter area at the top is where the original terminal would have been, and also closer to the ramps is where the hovercrafts would have been parked. This, believe it or not, is actually where the terminal used to. Is that the edge of the... That's the edge of the concrete platform, isn't it? So this is the edge of the terminal, this is the corner of the terminal. It's so overgrown, and there's not really any evidence that it was ever here. So this is right in the middle of the old terminal. And it looks like there's a concrete floor. I don't know whether that would have been inside or not. But there's definitely evidence of foundations here. I wonder what this is sticking out the ground. It looks like it's some cabling. There's definitely evidence here of a lot of foundations. This is certainly a great place to walk around and explore. A drain cover. Dumbro, London. Never heard of them. Let's see what's through here. It's just so accessible. You can just park on the road, just up on the cliff. It's not really a cliff. There's pathways where you can walk down to here. And there's lots of people down here with dogs. So you don't feel like you're intruding or trespassing. It's just a really interesting place to come.
Must have gone that way. You couldn't go that way. Look, that was blocked. They must have had to go.
Well, they'd have come out and they'd have turned right, wouldn't they,
Yeah.
onto the pan. I don't know whether that's the correct term, the pan. I don't know what they would have called it.
Is that what it is in aircraft? Apron.
Apron's a good word. Being an aircraft engineer, you think I'd know that.
Yeah.
So this is the car park again. This is so odd. There's some numbers down here as well. I'm guessing for the parking. Oh, this is where that other hut would have been. So it's 543.
One there. Who's covered over?
I don't know what these would have been. I'm wondering if that hut.
B.
Yeah, it's like
C,
almost.
D.
It's almost like it's a secondary loading point.
Yeah.
The hut that used to be there, I'm wondering if that's like the ticket centre.
Could have been.
So you'd have driven through there onto here, then into the queue, then onto the pan. At least that's if you were in a car.